Hello all, and welcome back to another chapter of Mars Mysteries. To prepare for this new season, let's take some time to recap what we've covered in the first chapter. In the first chapter of Mars Mysteries, we focused on the planet Mars as a stomping ground of fallen, angel, alien creator gods that have become the religious figures of many in the New Age and ufology. We observed that the first specific mention of Mars as the home of humanity's progenitors or civilizers was the secret society behind the Nazis. One of this secret group's public manifestations is known as the Thule Society. The origin myth of this secret order, the Thule Society, was that alien gods physically came from a star in the Taurus constellation called Aldebaran. Unfortunately, they did not evolve with their planet and fixed star, and rather than be destroyed in various periods of destruction, they fled to another solar system, ours. According to their teachings, they first colonized Maldek, or Marduk, and, like a broken record, that planet was destroyed as well, just like their planet around Aldebaran. From there, they allegedly came to Mars and were the impetus for civilization there. Once Mars met the same fate as Aldebaran and Maldek, they used their advanced technology to travel to the Earth and repeat the cycle again. According to the esoteric beliefs of the Nazis, all of our civilization and accomplishments are due to these alien gods. Without them, we would be mere animals with no power or ingenuity in our own right. Strangely, despite the Nazis apparently losing the war, their origin myth and religion seem to continue. The same story, only slightly changed and expanded upon, eventually showed up in various books, films, and TV shows, all of which received massive investment and promotion. In fact, many programs that push this Nazi esoteric cosmology appeared on public television. Perhaps the most notable propagator of the Nazi esoteric ideology is Erich von Däniken. In fact, von Däniken has become the impetus of a new cosmic religion, a new religion where ancient spiritual teachings are reinterpreted and reimagined into the most materialistic idea of human creation and evolution possible. He introduces the idea of the superior alien creator god through his work, Chariots of the Gods. Interestingly, one of the claims that was removed from the original version was that Jesus Christ was actually an alien. This assertion was considered offensive by the publisher, but appears repeatedly in New Age circles. In an alarming twist, we discover that von Däniken's work is not only propagating Nazi esoterica and sentiment, but has actual connections to the propaganda arm of the Nazi Party. His seminal work, Chariots of the Gods, was penned by Utz Utermann, who was the former editor and contributor to the official Nazi newspaper, Völkischer Beobachter. He also helped to write and produce the documentary version of Chariots of the Gods under his pseudonym, Wilhelm Rogersdorf. So, to make this clear, we have the chief propagandist of the official Nazi newspaper writing a new creation myth for society, reframing our ideology of God, our ancient past, and our origins. Thus, through Erich von Däniken and Utz Udermann, the Nazi creation myth was reborn and emerged into the mainstream. As we trace the beginnings of this ideology to its roots, we are brought to the uncomfortable realization that much of the New Age and ufology and society at large is unknowingly propagating the esoteric ideology of the secret society behind the Nazi Party. They have fallen prey and are participating in one of the biggest spiritual propaganda campaigns of our time. The effect of this new ideology is that humanity becomes infantilized by these alien creator gods who are ultimately responsible for all human achievement and, even in some circles, the creation of human beings. This new mythology asserts that spiritual events are really technologies and scientific processes, which ultimately separates us from our spirit and true path of evolution. It draws us outside of ourselves into a bizarre materialist world of alien scientists. Once the idea that alien gods were the reason why humanity has any level of achievement was established by von Däniken, a new propagator of the Nazi origin myth takes the torch: Zecharia Sitchin. Sitchin emerges on the scene and further develops the alien god narrative. Like von Däniken, Sitchin mistranslated ancient texts and archaeological sites to give them a new meaning. Sitchin's meaning affirmed that superhuman aliens were indeed the gods of humanity's ancient past. In fact, he reintroduced the exact idea that the alien gods civilized Mars before they came to the Earth, an idea that originally stems from the secret group behind the Nazis. Sitchin also renames the alien creator gods the Anunnaki, and in doing so provides the important Sumerian-Babylonian connection that was key in the original Nazi origin myth. After all, according to Nazi mythology, the alien gods from Aldebaran were from the planet Sumi-Ur, and the Vril media Maria Orsic channeled her information in ancient Sumerian. Thus, in Sitchin's work, we see the precise blending of Nazi esoteric tradition and von Däniken's ancient alien hypothesis. Today, the word Anunnaki, which comes directly from Sitchin, is an accepted term in the New Age and ufology. Most people have no idea its parallels to Nazi esoterica. Not long after Sitchin's emergence, Enterprise mission is established directly to study the monuments on Mars. Of course, many of the books and lectures of the scientists of Enterprise mission are not simply sharing scientific data. There is plenty of opinion, hinting, and leading that the civilizers of Mars came to the Earth as well. And so, the Mars origin myth is further carried into the public sphere. It is purified of its original esoteric Nazi beginnings under the guise of science and discovery. Publicly, the Nazi ideology is seen as cruel and deranged, but somehow the Nazi origin myth and their religious ideology becomes the leading narrative in ufology and the New Age. In the media, the question of life on Mars, structures on Mars, is regularly suggested. You can almost set your watch to it. Various channelers in the New Age have also become ensnared in the propaganda, providing updates on the alien gods, and even describing the recent developments of the Anunnaki. Figurines, jewelry, mugs, and other items dedicated to Sitchen's Anunnaki are available for purchase. And thus, we have entered a truth paradox. Because others before me have propagated this ideology, made t-shirts and wrote books, it must be true. And so, humanity is interacting with these concepts in a passive but impactful way. Humanity is being built up to accept certain things about our origins and the patterns of life in the cosmos. But Sitchen didn't just pick up the torch from von Däniken, who carried it straight from the Nazis. He also brought light to a new concept: creation and evolution through hybridization. And up until this point, humanity did not consider their evolution nor creation to be due to genetic hybridization. Humanity is divine in origin, meaning that we evolve in direct accordance with the cosmos, specifically our planet and fixed star. We are in the image of God directly, because we personify the patterns within the cosmos as we take them on and evolve. Thus, our evolution is a natural process of metamorphosis. This metamorphosis occurs as we move up and down in density, naturally, a process that happens over a long period of time as the earth and our body go through various stages of changes. The evolutionary impulse does not occur through physical modification, but rather through the internal process of transmutation. Sitchen also popularized Planet X, or Nibiru, and spoke about the inevitable return of these creator gods. Their return being something to fear, yet also be in awe of. Strangely, the infamous CIA remote viewing session where Joe McMonagle remote views Mars also parroted the ideology that an ancient race of humans abandoned Mars for another world. The specific idea that humanity was created, evolved, or civilized by alien gods from a destroyed world is a Nazi myth. Spiritual beings do exist as great initiators of mankind, but they did not come from a destroyed planet. Fallen beings come from fallen worlds, and fallen beings are very different than genuine higher humans, and they should not be conflated. Fallen angels and fallen beings should not be referred to as gods, civilizers, or creators, as they are none of those things. Once the von Däniken and Sitchen work was established, a new vessel for the propagation of the alien creator god mythology takes the baton. Now, it's 2009, and the television show Ancient Aliens becomes the jewel of the History Channel. Ancient Aliens, a play on von Däniken's Ancient Astronaut, gives glamour, life, and further validity to the Nazi esoteric stream. In this episode of Ancient Aliens called Return to Mars, it is suggested to the audience that alien gods came from Mars to the Earth. This is the exact ideology of the secret occult group behind the Nazis. This is the Mars origin myth in plain sight.
Giorgio, I agree. Let me tell you this, though. It's possible that Mars was the blue-green planet here, a billion years ago instead of Earth. And when whatever happened to Mars, they migrated from there to here.
Migration from Mars to Earth? Some ancient astronaut theorists have proposed the incredible notion that the human race did, in fact, originate on Earth's closest neighboring planet. And it is their belief that all of humankind's journeys into space have been leading towards a return to this ancestral homeland. While it may sound like the premise of a sci-fi movie, some scientists have proposed that based on what we've learned about the Red Planet, this is not such a far-fetched notion after all.
And because their work was not publicly rejected and corrected, Däniken, Sitchen, and now various other experts have joined the grift. They present their findings as an established fact. In fact, the alien god theory has grown to include galactic councils and federations that not only allegedly created humanity, but also govern humanity as a centralized force. Chosen channels like exclusive priests relay their messages to eager audiences. Millions and millions of dollars have been poured into this propaganda program. And, in true continuation of the Thule Society's mythology, the experts that flash across our screen always mention the technical superiority of the Nazis. This direct propagation of Nazi esoterica has not been very well received in some circles. As racial tensions rise in America and throughout the world, various individuals have expressed their concerns and discussed that this mythology is finding a place in the mainstream. Various scholars that specialize in Sumerian script and ancient texts have also come forward to challenge this narrative. Dr. Michael Heiser from the website sitchenwaswrong.com has spent his own time and money directly exposing how Sitchen did not translate the tablets correctly. Despite efforts to expose the propaganda campaign, many obvious elements of it still go unaddressed. Perhaps the most blatant is the passing of the baton from the Nazi scientist Wernher von Braun to Elon Musk. Today, Elon has become the modern version of Wernher von Braun, carrying out many of his ideologies, like colonizing Mars and the materialist belief that humanity must one day leave the Earth to survive. In Wernher von Braun's book, Project Mars, he actually names Elon. The torch of the Nazi esoteric tradition does not end there. It finds light and influence in another avenue, the #1 streaming platform for spiritual seekers, Gaia. Gaia is often called the spiritual Netflix and features many popular spiritual teachers, UFO researchers, and psychics. Gaia is a prolific propagator of the alien god myth. In episode 7, season 2 of the Gaia program Deep Space, called Martian Refugees, it suggested to the audience that alien gods came from Mars and then colonized the Earth. Of course, again, this is the exact origin myth of the Nazis' Thule Society. It is the Aldebaran myth sanitized. The experts in this episode are the same individuals from Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. It is important to note here that it is not that the Earth doesn't interact with other spheres or beings from other spheres. It does. That's how the Earth evolves. The issue with the Nazi ideology is that it only recognizes one evolutionary path of the Earth, the lowest one. The Nazi esoterica highlighted in this series is the divergent timeline of humanity, or the degenerative timeline. There is no good in simply teaching one timeline, namely the most degenerative one. While Gaia features some interesting programming and individuals, there is a glaringly awkward element to it as well, which is their foray into cosmic spirituality. Now, cosmic spirituality is not like the first wave spirituality of the 80s, 90s, or even early 2000s. That focused mainly on self-empowerment, basics about ancestral tradition, and gentle psychic development or meditation techniques. But cosmic spirituality involves more hard-hitting topics like human origins, alien contact, specific interactions with various alien races, conspiracy theory, government corruption, and precise details about human initiation in the cosmos. The biggest difference is that cosmic spirituality introduces very specific ideologies about mankind, our planet, and the cosmos. Cosmic spirituality is not about simple self-empowerment and basic spiritual development. It is about specifically naming and classifying various spiritual forces and individualities as cosmic beings or aliens, and describing humanity's prehistory with them. Modern cosmic spirituality involves telling humanity who they are, what the cosmos is, and what our ancient history is. It involves telling us who we are before we can develop the faculties to remember ourselves. Cosmic spirituality is making the themes and holy individualities that were once up to the individual to interpret real and objective. This violates individual sovereignty, as one's personal connection and interpretation of various spiritual and cosmic forces is an important part of spiritual development. It has always been up to the individual to reach into their inner cosmos and develop their own personal interpretations and understandings of interdimensionals and the ancient past civilizations before certain dynamics were revealed. To them, this allowed the student to develop their own feel for higher worlds, their own connection with higher beings. It allowed memories and knowledge within their being to arise. Once this happens, the individual is free to navigate these topics independently and creatively on their own. Thus, having experts tell you these ideologies as objective truths removes an important and formative process of spiritual development. To be precise, it is not that there isn't objective truths about higher worlds, the ancient past, and even interdimensional beings. It is specifically that the individual must first develop their own relationship with these concepts. If this relationship does not occur, the individual becomes indoctrinated as other people's interpretations are introduced. The individual becomes indoctrinated as other people's interpretations are introduced to them. They take them on as their own without developing their own insight and connection. When a group seeks to manipulate or push people into ideologies that redefine one's worldview. That is called indoctrination. This new approach by ancient aliens in Gaia is really telling you who you are before you can develop the faculties to understand this yourself. And humanity doesn't need to be told who they are. The truth of our form lies in every individual's consciousness, and it is part of human initiation to go through the process of remembrance. It is this process of slow remembrance that is the hallmark of spiritual growth, as we remember more and more of our spiritual nature and deep past as we expand deeper into our inner light. Teaching about the past civilizations on Earth and even other spheres is necessary, as is the stages of human development in our solar system. However, such conversations should be primarily organized around the spiritual science or the occult science of human and planetary development and contact. Without this basis, unknowing students are left to simply follow storylines or researchers or gurus for updates or new information because they are simply unable to directly relate to or understand the foundational dynamics of the topic themselves. Where we are now is a rather precarious position. The foundation has been laid and, for the most part, accepted. The origin myth and esoterica of the Third Reich of the Nazis has permeated our communities. It's made its way into our minds. And many people propagate this mythology without even understanding where it comes from. Many people who would be disgusted by the Nazis unknowingly propagate their esoteric ideology and thus feed and enable the stream in our world. So, what do? Well, we educate ourselves. First, we become aware that this line of Nazi occult influence exists in our world. Then, we seek to understand it. Not because it's true, not to accept it, but so that we may reject it, not on impulse, not because you have been told to, but because you genuinely understand it. So, please join me for the rest of this new season of Mars Mysteries, where we go even deeper into the alien-God ideology. I can't wait to share this next chapter with you.